All right, for the third time, bright souls, we are going to try this one more time. I think I was on a different device, and I think maybe how like sometimes when you don't have a lot of room, things don't always stick. So I had to switch, and because I feel like this must be important to get so many delays and interruptions, and so this is probably going to help someone or many out there. Okay. I want to say welcome. Thank you for stopping by here on YouTube Live at The Real Bloom from Within Love. I go by Bloomy. And anything you all need to know about me should be listed in the description box. I want to send my love and light to all of my returning viewers and subscribers, as well as the new viewers and subscribers. Welcome. YouTube is growing daily, and I'm excited to have all of you that are coming here for the, should I say, high vibe, right reasons. Okay, y'all know why I say that? Because again, I wasn't born yesterday. I wasn't born last night. I was born at night, but I wasn't born last night. Right now, the topic, the title, you see, it says mental illness versus just trauma. Okay, this was inspired by a reader I was listening to myself, and she wasn't talking about mental illness versus trauma. That's sort of my take on it, okay? As I was saying on the two previous attempts to go live here, in her reading, she was talking about a distorted karmic feminine energy that had this fascination, fixation, idealization on a divine masculine. But to such an extent that, it's just something is wrong, okay? She mentioned in her reading that this particular karmic feminine energy, the vibes that she was getting, the way the cards was coming out, the downloads that she was getting from source, um, was implying that this karmic feminine energy was disillusioned and had mental illness, okay? And she was extremely aggressive and kind of did like reverse psychology, highly manipulative, to try to stay attached to this particular masculine energy. Now, the masculine had, according to her reading, he had recently maybe put some barriers between um, himself and this particular person, particular feminine energy. Now, she used the term emotional incest. And she wasn't sure in her reading whether or not if this karmic feminine was his relative or was the relative of divine feminine. But it was unhealthy. Now, she mentioned that this particular feminine was so disillusioned and even fixated on divine feminine that she copied everything about divine feminine, everything. She was trying to be divine feminine. She wants to come off as divine feminine. She wished she was divine feminine. Okay. And apparently people had started catching, especially this particular masculine, had started catching on that like this person is not well. She wants to be this other person. That's why he even behaved in this way and in that way and in this way. Okay. So now, the part that I'm about to share with you all now is more so my take, okay? Just give credit to where credit was due in terms of, I was listening to a reader and it was her reading that was reflecting that she was doing, okay? But for any of you out there, if you resonate as a divine feminine, even as a masculine that's going through his own awakening to his divinity, this may be useful for you, okay? Because some of these karmic situations are really that insidious, especially when there is a plot twist involving family members, okay? So, what came back to mind though for me, collective, is I was sitting as I was like going about my day and doing some things and um, reflecting on my own journey and my own story, okay? And here's where it gets dicey. This is the reason why karmic energies are able to do this in the first place. This is why they are able to convince many for a very long time that it's the other way around. So if you resonate as an earth angel or a starseed, you're somebody that decided to carnate into this carnation in order to bring awakening to that bloodline and to bring healing from trauma, from ancestral trauma. Most people get stuck on the word generational curses and they get all caught up on the hype about, oh, I'm here to break the generational curse of poverty. Well, it's a little bit beyond just getting money and shit and thinking that you have broken a generational curse, because you got thieves that got money. It doesn't mean that they have broken a generational curse. Okay? It's deeper than that. The earth angels and the star seeds have come for healing, not on the surface. Hear me out as you guys hear this ambulance, okay? For true healing, wellness on a deep quantum epigenetic level, which requires first and foremost for that star seed to be able to heal. What happens is when these star seeds and earth angels are born into these karmic families and situations, if they were traumatized by the narcs in their family dynamic, mother, father, grandmother, sisters, brothers, however they grew up, okay, they were traumatized, so their nervous system could have been hit. So they may have had to cope with those things. Now, bringing it forward into the adulthood, if the siblings or the family members try to, if they came into the awareness about a divine feminine or divine masculine's path long before they did, if they were low vibrational, which usually they are, then they schemed to try to use that person, limit that person, create blockages for that person. And then at the end of the day, if that was no longer able to be done, then they simply try to take on the persona and the personality and destiny of a person. And so they'll then try to team up with others that don't like that star seed or that earth angel to commence to either try to kill them literally or energetically, psychologically, mentally, professionally, financially, or such heinous things to get that person to want to just say to hell with life, or, they reduce themselves to that level, especially if they're narcissistic. The difference between trauma in itself and, the effects of what trauma can do versus someone with a real delusion there is that trauma is something that could be and usually is being healed on someone that is on their path. The mental illness, so I'm told narcissism cannot be healed. That's what I'm told, from a scientific standpoint. That the only thing that person can do if they become a self-aware narc, but they don't heal, okay? And it's due to whatever, I don't have all of the answers, but I just wanted to share this to be helpful for some of you out there, because when you're dealing with trauma and mental illness or narcissism, some of this stuff is insidious and it's not very easily detected, and here's why. It's easy to say that the starseed and the earth angel that has suffered from trauma, a long, continual event of traumatic abuse at the hand of their friends and family, and things of that nature, it's easier to convince out people, especially other fellow people that are not awakened and healed, to convince those people that no, they don't have the mental illness. It's the starseed earth angel, because of look how nervous they are, or look at this and look at that, right? And then they'll hide behind their accomplishment, okay? This is why people get tricked. When we hear the term mental illness, there is this false belief that means that this is somebody that's sitting under a bridge, someone that doesn't have any money, someone that doesn't have a job, you know. So we equate it to these things, and that is so far from the truth. And this is why these karmic energies with mental illness have been able to fool people. They try to siphon the energy of divines, okay? And then they try to mimic and copycat these people. Essentially, they study divines. They pretend like they're not interested. They pretend like they're not watching. They're pretending like they don't see them on social media. They pretend. But the entire time, you see, they are researching, they're studying, okay? Everything that they do. So case in point, if a divine feminine or a divine masculine decides they're on social media and they're doing this, then they try to go on and do the same thing and try to just give it a little spin real quick, a different little spin, okay? And so it's important for us, especially if you guys are awakening, because in the reading I was listening to, this was to do with people, it was to do with twin flames, soulmates, divines, and then a counterpart was recently awakening, and they were trying to like clear their lives out, you know, of fuck shit. So, beautiful souls, I do want to say this. Here's another nugget. It is something that I had to take a big gulp on, okay? Listen, the knowledge in itself about something, just because somebody could mimic someone else or study something or talk about something, that's any of us, right? The awareness doesn't equate inner knowing or inner application. What do I mean? Someone, especially a karmic energy that is disillusioned and in mental illness, but they can be intelligent. Mental illness doesn't equal dumb. Understand? Okay? They can be intelligent. So they may be able to create a platform and sit and literally basically copy everything someone else said in a different way. And they themselves are the ones sitting in that mental illness. Okay? The knowledge of something doesn't give you the essence of it by osmosis. We hear constantly healing, transcending, awakening, healing, right? But what's the difference between somebody saying that constantly, putting on the garb and the costumes and the, you know, paraphernalia and the props and the this and the that? What's the difference? How do you know? This is why it's important for us to go on our own inner journeys and do our own inner work, because nobody's going to have to walk your hand or hold your hand to walk you through that, okay? You'll be able to pick it up. You'll start getting these clues and inclinations here. Back when I was on a different journey and I was going to church, organized, you know, religion, there used to be these common sayings that just because you go to church, it doesn't make you a Christian. Just because you are in the kitchen, it doesn't mean you're a cook. We used to hear this, right? And laugh and ha 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 ha, right? Yeah. But listen. This is the difference. Divines do the work. See, this is where the rubber meets the road, you guys. Divines, they do the work. They do the internal work. They don't just go and create something and have an appearance of things. They actually do the internal work. And this is why eventually they see the external fruit. Karmics want the external fruit, pretending that the inner work has been done. Okay? They want to just do the external. Oh, A, B, C, and D. Oh, put this here, put that there, do this and do that. Oh, I just know. No. Healing from one's own trauma. Healing from one's own shadow, facing that for real, going there. No bullshit. Divines aren't afraid to sit in an office of a psychiatrist. Divines aren't afraid of going there. Okay? Because the healing work first started with them. And that meant dealing with the function in their family. The toxicity, the abuse, the passive aggressive covert narcissism, okay? The false spirituality, corrupt spirituality, dark witch practices, all of those things that these karmic families sweep under the rug for generation and generation. Divines came to blow that out the water. Okay? They came to call it, strip them fake ass band-aids off of it. Stop playing, stop faking, stop frauding. And they don't like it. See, this is why the starseed get attacked. This is why they try to copy the starseed. This is why they steal from the starseed. This is why they mimic the starseed. This is why they spend hours upon hours on gossiping on the starseed. This is why they do death rituals on the starseed. Yeah. I'm talking spiritual narcissism, religious narcissism, all that, right? But, beautiful souls, this information may help you, because when you're dealing with something that insidious, and if you're just trying to rely on someone's external behavior, they can go get on it. They can buy them a costume and shit. And if that's what you're going by, you're gonna be tricked. They can have 12 crosses wrapped around their necks. They can be at church every week. They can be given away to the poor. They can have everything that screams New Age in their living room to make it seem like they're... They can try to mimic the sounds, the words, the mannerisms, the linguistics of divines. But don't believe the hype. Don't get caught up because somebody's got money, honey. You don't know how they got their money. They could have hoped to get that money. I'm just saying. No qualms. You don't know how they got that shit. They could have used somebody else's social security number. You don't know how they got that shit. They could have cahoots with people in high places that are corrupt. You don't know how they got that shit. You know what I'm saying? We get caught up on that. You don't know how they got that shit. You hear me? And then the divines get targeted because the divines go through the path of the least, the narrow path. They take the humble road, the road, that good old road, the hero's journey, blood and glory. So they go through humble beginnings and many things due to fuck shit and people traumatizing them and all of this sort of thing. And they have to work through their stuff like everybody else. But what they are not is mentally ill. The mental illness was projected on them from their family. They suffered at the hand of the mental illness of their family. Woo! Yeah. And what narcs do, what they're notorious for doing, is switching. And because people would be sleep as fuck, they wouldn't know the difference. No discernment, no intuition. Ain't connected. So when you're trying, beautiful souls, to decipher what's happening, okay, it's highly important, if you know and you suspect that you have been dealing with a very toxic situation, a very toxic person, or a disillusioned person, if you've gotten wind, knowledge, facts, truths, or something about someone, I'm going to tell you this straight away. Do your own research, because at the end of the day, it is best that you do that so that you can learn to trust your own intuition versus relying on someone else to tell you. But things that we say should be confirming of what your intuition is guiding you. So I'm going to let you know, if you suspect that you have been bamboozled by a narc, they have a mental illness. Listen to me. Just hear me out. Whether they're diagnosed or not, you don't need to even concern yourself with needing a diagnosis. If these individuals have been displaying the things in which I'm sharing, it's enough. But when you're dealing with narcissism, I can say from my experience and my research, it's insidious. Okay? And you will go round for round and your head will be wrapped up in a knot if you're trying to reason with these people, if you're trying to believe in them and believe in their stories and their fuck shit and their smoke and mirrors, and you know what I'm saying? For the narc, at the end of the day, it is about wanting to win at all cost. Most of what they do is driven by that. There's no divinity there. Most of what they do is simply about that. Has nothing to do with real love, has nothing to do with hope for humanity. I don't care what fake shit they got on their Instagram, autism this, and they don't give a damn about no damn autism or no autistic. It's about an appearance. It's about a look. It's about trying to convince their targeted prey of a facade or a persona. If you suspect this, the best thing that you can do for yourself, the most highest vibrational loving thing that you can possibly do for yourself and even that person, cut ties. You don't need their opinion or approval. They will talk you in circles should you try to go at them that with reason, okay? But make it clear that you're cutting ties. They go no contact, and that's literally what they mean. Follow your guidance. Please do your research. I'm not asking any of you to just accept what I'm saying. You have to go with your guidance system. Do your own due diligence here, okay? But that's going to help you, as well as this person, if they so want it down the road for their lives. But essentially, it's going to help you on your path of healing and becoming unplugged and defogged from all of the gaslighting major here. We have movies, okay, back in the day, with single white female. Here recently, I think they're writing something called single black female, okay? That's essentially, I think there was this one other movie called The Roommate as well. That's essentially narcissism. Somebody that is fascinated and infatuated with somebody's life, somebody's energy, somebody's personality, somebody's man. Sad. Very sad. And the extent that they'll go to for it. They'll kill for it, essentially. Okay? Lie, cheat, steal for it. And that's what happens on some of these twin flame journeys. with these karmic energies. Okay? So, wish them well. But if you're starting your awakening, you're trying to heal and get some clarity on some things, it'll serve you well. Don't play. Don't play with the devil's fire. Because they study well. They know all of your weaknesses. They know all your tendencies. Okay? So give yourself some space to, heal and forgive, right? Heal and forgive. But move on, man. And hear me out, y'all. This has nothing to do with whether or not, if you're divine feminine or masculine, listen to me. Whether or not y'all decide to go with each other or not as divine feminine and divine masculine, that's between y'all. But whether or not you all even decide to do that, at the end of the day, you still need to honor your path to your divinity. And you will never have that as long as you allow yourself to stay attached to toxic, low vibratory, karmic, narcissistic individuals. It's just not going to happen. Sorry to deliver that news, but it's the truth. It's going to always end in a tower. It's going to get more and more catastrophic. It's going to get more and more painful. There's going to be more and more lives affected in a negative way as long as you stay. So serve yourself and do yourself a favor in honor to your own healing, because you have a mission that you came here for. You agreed to it. But it requires that you have the space to do your own healing first, to get to who you are. And as long as I'm telling y'all, when we're hanging onto these energies, you're not going to do it. They'll pretend to heal. They'll pretend whatever they got to do to keep you stalled the fuck out. I'm sorry, I'm going to heal. I'm sorry, I want to awaken too. I'm sorry, I'm going to do this. It's not going to happen. It's a tactic. Because let me tell you this, those that are going to heal and truly want to heal, whether they are karmic or not, hear this, are going to heal regardless. It is not going to be contingent upon you staying with them. People that are real and sincere and wanting to do this for themselves, it's not contingent upon if you stay with me, I heal. If you give me one more chance, I heal. That's the difference between divinity and karmic. Okay? Karmics, it's conditional. Divines, even when their heart is bleeding and they've gotten their heart stomped on by those they cared for, they go on their path and they heal. It's not, if I'm with divine masculine, then I'm going to heal. If I'm with divine feminine, then I'm going to heal. No, divines heal. That's what they do. That's their first mission. So that's another test, y'all. Don't let people stall you out and keep you connected under a guise. Separation is needed to heal. Sometimes there's too much codependency in the first place. Motherfuckers need to do their shit on their own. You know what I'm saying? And stop relying on someone else, whether it be they're relying on that person to be the cheerleader, they're relying on that person's money, they're relying on that person's sex, they're relying on that person's this or whatever the fuck. We are all here responsible for our own lives at the end of the day. Anything shy of being in prison and in a coma, we can get our ass up. Work it out. It may not be easy, but we can do it. All right, bright souls, I gotta go. Got one more thing I gotta do here before I head back to the house. Okay, I sent you guys love and light, and namaste.